So Akshay from our community made a request to make a proper video uncovering the investigation, the money movements, the offshore banking networks and the shell companies used in the 1999-2000 India-South Africa match fixing scam. So today we'll be discussing how did the money actually flowed between the continents and how did the captain of South Africa operated the 70 bank accounts which were probably in Cayman Islands. And then how did he distribute the funds from the Indian or wherever the betting people were sitting to the players that were paid to underperform? And how did the financial investigators actually tracked that what is happening and where is the funds currently sitting? All of this happened, which made the cricket associations to take responsibility and actually form rules and policies which stopped this, which were intended to stop this sport into a pure gambling activity. Hi, we are Shunyatax Global, and in the world of dark finance, today we'll be discussing on 1999-2000 India-South Africa match fixing scam. What is actually match fixing? Match fixing मतलब होता क्या है? Match fixing is not just cheating in sport. That let's say किसी player को to underperform from their actual performances, that the other team gets a chance to win. The gamblers, the people who are betting on the team that they think might win or might lose. So basically the gamblers are the house, the bookmakers, जो bets लेते हैं of the local people. Now let's say these bookmakers know the decision of the match before it actually happened. So they'll be actually making money, asking the retail people to make bets which are totally against them. But match fixing doesn't stop here. Match fixing involves payment to the performers. It involves moving of funds. It obviously involves no tax payments, as the payments are always not authorized or legal. It involves using shell companies or layered structure ताकि जो actual bookmaker है, who is running the whole show, and the main person who is running the whole team or the captain of the team or someone who is managing all the players without their identity being shown to everyone else. So this is what is match fixing. Match fixing अगर देखा जाए is a systematic form of crime, just like you saw in the movie John Wick. It involves each and every element to move in a systematic function so that this deal could be executed. In 1999-2000, when India and South Africa were on a tour playing a series, the bookmakers, which we will reveal later, the bookmakers जो book चलाते हैं. What is book? Basically, it is just a register. Initial form तो registry था, now it is more sophisticated, जिसमें लोगों की bets लिखी जाती है. That let's say शाहरुख ने इतने लगाए, सलमान ने इतने लगाए, ठीक है, अक्षय ने इतने लगाए, and इस पे इतना रिटर्न उनको मिलेगा. So this is basically maintaining their register. So these are the bookmakers. Now bookmakers actually approached the South African captain at that time, who was Hansi Cronje. So South Africa team came to play in India, and then later it was committed that Hansi Cronje had to. So when South Africa came to India to play that cricket series in 1999-2000, a proper investigation revealed that over $130,000 were paid via Hawala networks, offshore accounts, shell companies, using multiple countries and multiple bank accounts with nominee names. Cronje, the South African captain, maintained over 70 undeclared bank accounts in Cayman Islands. And this was the time where cricket was considered a very pure sport, although it was still not, because $60 billion was the gambling empire that was actually analyzed at that time. All of these linked to the D company. D company is the Dawood's company and the people of Dawood's who were actually running this cricket batting match fixing scams all over the world, all over where the Indian team went to play. A very interesting movie on this is Jannat of Imran Hashmi. Cricket was always a religion of India. Now, no matter what, this gambling industry was run by few people who were named in this case. At इस time उस industry की value थी $60 billion. So जितने भी मैच मेकर्स थे, जितने भी बुक मेकर्स थे, दे वर एक्चुअली सिटिंग इन मुंबई. और उस टाइम उन्होंने रियलाइज़ करा, इंस्टेड ऑफ फिक्सिंग दी होल मैच, पूरा मैच फिक्स करने से अच्छा है ओनली दीज 3 थिंग्स. द फर्स्ट इज टीम सिलेक्शन, विच ऑल दीज फैंटेसी एप्स गेम थिंग्स आस्क यू टू डू. द सेकेंड इज पिच कंडीशंस, के पिच कैसा है, इट इज़ अ बैटिंग पिच और अ बॉलिंग पिच. एंड द थर्ड इज़ वेदर अपडेट. इन तीनों की बैटिंग में, इन तीनों की फिक्सिंग में, इन तीनों की प्रायर इन्फॉर्मेशन में ही बहुत पैसा है, रेदर देन फिक्सिंग दी होल मैच. और उस टाइम भी ये इंडस्ट्री इतनी प्रबल थी, इतनी पावरफुल थी, दैट इन 1994 एंड 1995, जस्ट 5 years बिफोर साउथ अफ्रीका इंडिया टीम सीरीज, शेन वॉर्न एंड मार्क वॉ, इन दोनों ऑस्ट्रेलियन प्लेयर्स ने एक्सेप्ट करा था दैट दे हैव एक्सेप्टेड पेमेंट्स फ्रॉम द बुक मेकर्स ऑफ मुंबई टू अंडर परफॉर्म. एंड इनिशियली इट वॉज वेरी कॉमन टू अप्रोच द प्लेयर्स डायरेक्ट. पर सवाल ये आता है 1999-2000 इंडिया साउथ अफ्रीका सीरीज में, विदाउट एनीवन डिटेक्टिंग इट. सो टू मूव द फंड्स, अ प्रॉपर नेटवर्क ऑफ हवाला बैंक अकाउंट्स, शेल कंपनीज was created in the name of nominees of the people who were actually benefiting from it. जब ये केस दिल्ली कोर्ट में गया, तब दिल्ली कोर्ट ने भी माना दैट बहुत सारा पैसा इंडिया से बाहर गया है उन लोगों के बैंक अकाउंट्स में, एंड दीज पीपल वर डायरेक्टली लिंक्ड टू द प्लेयर्स देमसेल्व्स, एंड दे वर एक्चुअली पेड वाया द फॉरेन एक्सचेंजेस इन द नेम ऑफ payments for the imports that businesses have done. He used Hawala network, the network of Angadiya. Which network was very strong at that time? The network of D Company, the network of Dawood Ibrahim's organization to move the funds. So if you don't know Hawala or Angadiya, it is moving the funds without actually moving the funds. We have a lot of content on it. You can go check it out. Interesting is these people only charge 0.5% to 2% of commissions, and plus it purely runs on trust between the brokers who are actually doing it. तो इस particular case में to pay the South African players, bookmaker Sanjay Chawla was the main person who was being the bridge between the D company and the South African captain Hansi Cronje, who was Hansi Cronje. Now the network of D companies Hawala was spread in UK, South Africa, India, Pakistan, Dubai, UAE, with multiple layers so that the final beneficiaries could be hidden. Third, उन्होंने use लिए to move the funds, the banks. Now Hansi Cronje had 70 undeclared Cayman Island bank accounts. Why Cayman Islands? Because it offers financial secrecy and it is very close to the African continent where they actually wanted to use the money. What's interesting is South African government also doesn't allow these bank accounts, these undeclared foreign bank accounts. South African agencies or revenue services को भी वो bank accounts नहीं declare. $130,000 were told to pay the players to underperform. उन 70 बैंक अकाउंट्स को जब एनालाइज किया गया, दिस अमाउंट वॉज फार मोर. इट वॉज इन हंड्रेड्स ऑफ मिलियंस. क्रोनिये वॉज एक्चुअली बाइंग लॉट ऑफ रियल एस्टेट्स एंड लॉट ऑफ प्रॉपर्टीज, particularly in South Africa. $26.7 million की प्रॉपर्टीज at that time, before 25 years ago, were seized. That the 70 bank accounts, जिसका ultimate beneficial owner is Cronje, has taken so much more from the D company and from the bookmaker Sanjay Chawla than the $130,000, and he was actually paying to other players only $15,000 to underperform to the whole team. What's interesting is the mystery of how much he owns in how much bank accounts is still unsolved because he died in a plane crash in 2002. Dead accounts, that बहुत से account ऐसे हैं, that is why scams and hackers come, try to transfer it in their own branch or within the bank, and then they pay you 50%, 40% of the funds transferred. Same way happened with Hansi Cronje. There is lot of undeclared amount which is sitting in the Cayman bank accounts as of today, undeclared, and no one to claim it because no one knows about it other than Cronje. तो देखा जाए तो the payment what actually moved is still one of the greatest unsolved mystery of the sports as of today, because Cronje died in a tragic plane crash in 2002. So अभी तक the people we have named here is Hansi Cronje, the whole South African team who were paid by Hansi Cronje. Third one is the D company who actually ran the operations. Fourth one is Sanjay Chawla, the bookmaker, the front face to Hansi Cronje. And then comes one more person in this. Jab money move ho gaya, we told you the ways to move money. The first one was foreign exchanges. The second one was Hawala networks. The third one was offshore bank accounts. Other than this, how did the whitewashing of funds happened? Now enters one more person into this picture, MK Gupta. So his real name was Mukesh Gupta, but in this gambling industry, he was popularly known as MK, like Sanjay Chawla. What's interesting is he had a legit front company to move the funds globally. Jewelry business mein. Even as of today, jewelry business is a prime source of moving funds between the nations everywhere in the world. Particularly in India as well, you'll see diamond companies, gold companies who are doing purely billing business to buy diamonds only on papers, to buy gold only on papers, and actually move funds out. Other than this, jewelry business ke alawa, they entered into import and export of other commodities which were actually not imported and exported. Uske alawa, they entered into real estate, currency exchange bhi. So they entered into currency exchange manipulation to obscure, to hide the funds that actually came in. और ये सारा payment was not done in one tranche. It was divided into various branches, which we call tranche in the financial industry. They have used various accounts, various bills, various people, all of this done by Mr. MK. और ये सारा setup they did in multiple countries to move funds to the destination from the source. But then what's interesting is how did they found the loophole? The loophole Hansi Cronje, who became the finance crime capital of this sports industry in 1999-2000. How did they find him and what did Hansi Cronje pull off that made everyone billions of rupees in that era? So the most important kadi, the most important chain of person in this was Cronje, which was identified by these bookmakers. Cronje, as the teammates define, was a very reserved person. A person, as one teammate said, that he would never buy drinks for anyone in the team, even if he was the captain and was earning millions and billions of dollars from these bookmakers. All of these started in 1996. MK Gupta offered Cronje $30,000 at that time when this money actually made sense in cricket. Now $30,000 for cricket is nothing, obviously. At that time he offered him $30,000 for South Africa to lose a wicket on the last day of Kanpur test. When he received the funds, anyways, South Africa was losing anyways. We got the funds for not doing anything. Hence, it is justified in our remarks. But then this was the fall of the first domino. And this was the start of the ripple effect. Ab MK has identified their proper network, their proper loophole, which they could tap every time because he initially took those funds. So MK informed this to Sanjay, Sanjay informed this to the D company. Remember when we told you that a match fix karne ki zarurat nahi thi to earn all the gamblers. What they did is they only needed to know team selections, the pitch conditions and the weather updates. And Cronje was the captain of the South African team. Hence, he was an integral part of team selection to take decisions who will go first, who will go last, and basically to run the team. So Hansi Cronje, the captain, knew that these people were their bank accounts and sone ke murgi dene wala. Same goes vice versa. What Cronje did is when he was selecting the team, he used to target younger, non-white people who had more need of finances than the actual people who actually played well. So he targeted people who really needed that finance. Kitna finance? So Cronje committed each and every team member who performed, who underperformed, जिसने एक performance अपनी बुरी दी है, for $15,000 per match. What's interesting is he didn't stop here. He even tried to cross borders, to go cross pavilions, to go cross dressing rooms, to different teams to negotiate the terms with the other teams as well. The Kanpur final day test, they identified that Cronje is their point of contact for every time. If he agrees, good, they'll pay money. If he doesn't agree, they'll blackmail him. Anyways, initially Cronje के टच में आया MK Gupta, and then after few matches जिसमें they were fixing teams and everything else, MK introduced Cronje to Sanjay Chawla, the person who was actually representative of Dawood Ibrahim, the D company in Mumbai, and was running his books. Official investigation में जो मिला है, officially $80,000 were actually paid to Cronje for doing this, but in reality the amounts were much more higher, which no one knows of today. So Sanjay Chawla entered into the picture in 2000. They provided Cronje a proper mobile phone to have a secure communication with him every time at any point that they wanted. What's interesting is all of this was happening under the eyes of all the regulatory authorities. But how did authorities came to know of this, and what did they actually do in this? What's interesting is ये केस का खुलासा कैसे हुआ. तो क्या हुआ that 1996 में दिल्ली पुलिस was intercepting, उन्होंने कॉल टैप्स करे थे of T सीरीज़ and of people जो T सीरीज़ वालों से एक्सटॉर्शन का पैसा मांग रहे थे. तो बिजनेस हफ्ता जो है was very prominent at that time, and people who used to give protection to business people, they used to charge money. ठीक है. तो दिल्ली पुलिस was investigating a case जिसमें वो कॉल टैप करे हुए थे उन्होंने टी सीरीज़ वालों के of all the people involved in the case. Sanjay Chawla, who was a bookmaker, the main bookmaker of the D company and the bridge between D company and the South African captain, Sanjay Chawla was using the phone of T series company. तो उसी से वो कॉल इंटरसेप्ट हुआ, एंड उसी कॉन्वर्जेशन में उनको पता पड़ा दैट ऑल ऑफ दिस इज़ हैपनिंग. बट क्या कॉल रिकॉर्ड हुई और क्या बात से उनको पता चला? हाउ डिड दे एक्चुअली केम टू अ कंक्लूजन दैट मैच फिक्सिंग इज हैपनिंग वाया इंडिया यूजिंग दैट साउथ अफ्रीकन कैप्टन? So Delhi police was analyzing thousands of pages of mobile phones and landline printouts. Basically, they were doing digital forensics of the call recordings that were happening in that extortion case. So they had thousands of pages of these transcriptions of the call recordings. अब उसमें उनको एक पैटर्न दिखा that every time there is a match going on of India, their call rate between India and Dubai increases significantly. और वो तभी होता था जब इंडिया और किसी भी टीम का मैच होता था. So they were analyzing it for so long, for approx 4 years, and it was happening every time जब भी मैच हो रहा था. Finally, in the year 2000, they found their main recording when the South African captain Cronje demanded explicitly from Sanjay Chawla, the bookmaker, the due payment of a match that was fixed by Cronje. Cronje was specifically saying that this is the due amount that you have to pay us, and उसमें से मेरे को इतना 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 इस प्लेयर को देना है for their under performance, and what are the future opportunities that we can fix the matches. So basically Cronje अपनी उधारी वसूल कर रहा था from Sanjay Chawla, and then दिल्ली पुलिस ने कॉल रिकॉर्ड्स निकाले उन सभी लोगों के जिससे Cronje ने और संजय चावला ने बात करी है. उनका पूरा एक नेटवर्क स्ट्रक्चर बनाया जिसमें दे आइडेंटिफाइड मल्टीपल बुकमेकर्स एंड मल्टीपल इंटरमीडियरीज who were involved in this match fixing of 1999 and 2000 South Africa India series. And till date जब भी कोई मैच फिक्सिंग या फिर स्पोर्ट्स करप्शन स्कैंडल निकलता है, the first thing that every authority, investigative authority does is they identify the network of calling structure. This is the same pattern used by every investigative agencies including police, cops, CBI, FBI, whatever. The network structure of the calls play relating it with the event that is currently happening at that time. फिर हुई full investigation. The CBI entered the case. They spent 6 good months in this investigations and found out 207 bookmakers, including their punters, the people who are working with those 207 bookmakers, Along with this, they found out 16 most important financial transactions. Financial transactions which related to the countries of UK, South Africa, India, and the most important Cayman Islands. But how did they actually link those financial transactions with that particular match fixing? तो क्या होता था, whenever the match was taking place, whenever the event was happening, there were proper transactions at that spot which were being held from Mumbai, Dubai to South Africa or to UK or to one of our favorite places, Cayman Islands. वही Cayman Islands जहाँ पर there were 70 undeclared bank accounts which were ultimately owned by Cronje. And then investigative authorities of the world and all these jurisdiction took over that. They didn't got their cut in this, and that is why they discovered a proper way how the funds were used. क्योंकि all of this earning, the funds must be put somewhere. The first place the funds were put is real estate, which happens everywhere in the globe whenever they need to whitewash the funds. And that is how the investigative authority found out the 70 undeclared bank account of Cronje, along with millions in properties and real estate. Banking channels were used, along with, as we discussed, were used the D company's network of Hawala transactions, which was purely based on trust, and moving of the funds were more smooth and untrackable as there were no paper trail ever. और इन सबको यूज़ लेने के लिए they were using legitimate businesses of jewelries and gold and diamonds, which is a front company that most of the people uses to legitimize their businesses. The prominent example of front company are the NGOs that are actually a front face of doing everything wrong that people actually wants to do. What's interesting is income tax authorities of South Africa and India entered into this. They said that all these transactions are unreported income, and unreported income should be taxed as this is black money. So they were like, it doesn't matter to us if it is legal, illegal, ethical, unethical. We need our taxes on the unreported income as you have received them. पर ये सब notices किस players को भेजे? The first was Hansi Cronje, who accepted that, and this is, he accepted on record, he accepted that he received $130,000 for the 1999-2000 series of India South Africa to underperform and to make sure that all of these underperformances by his team are paid well to the team. He faced a lifetime ban after that, but then he died in 2002 plane crash with funds remaining in the bank accounts which only he knew of. Herschel Gibbs is one of the players that accepted that Cronje ने उसको $15,000 दिए थे to underperform in the Nagpur ODI. He will only score less than 20 runs. But then when he was playing, he scored 74 runs and decided not to follow through with the captain's plan. Another player, Henry Williams, जिसने accept करा था to make only 50 runs in 10 overs in exchange of $15,000. But then वो 11 बॉलों पर ही injured हो गया, and then he had to come out of the ground. Both of these received 6 months of international bans, and these are the acceptances that they both accepted. Indians and all these D companies, Sanjay Chawla, MK Gupta, all these 207 bookmakers, how did they actually reach to Cronje? Their bridge was Mohammad Azharuddin, the same player जिसकी इमेज को वाइट वॉश करने के लिए उस पर मूवी बनाई गई. As per CBI reports, he allegedly fixed 3 ODIs, 3 one-day internationals, with the help of Cronje. And then in the year 2000, he received a lifetime ban. After that, he went to Andhra Pradesh High Court in 2012, who cleared the lifetime ban. Why? Because of insufficient evidences. Why? Because of using of Cayman Islands, which is almost untrackable, using of Hawala networks, which are stealth movement of payments. As per ESPN Crick Info and various CBI reports and other sources, Mohammad Azharuddin received 90 lakhs in cash from various bookmakers and received a Maruti Gypsy from bookmaker Manoj Prabhakar, including a sum of rupees 40,000 for doing that underperformance and helping them connect with Cronje and helping them fix those matches. How much assets were actually recovered from them? Almost nothing. Because of Cronje's undeclared Cayman Island bank accounts, Hawala is untrackable. And then most of the people who were related with these cases went underground or after this. Who actually went to jail? Well, CBI was involved. साउथ अफ्रीका ने एक किंग कमीशन बिठाई, द किंग्स कमीशन, अंडर द लीडरशिप ऑफ जस्टिस एडविन, जिसमें Cronje accepted in a 22-page detailed statement that he was involved in fixing between 1995 to 2000 with Indian bookmakers, naming everyone. That is why, interestingly, Cronje died in a sudden plane crash. CBI के अलावा there were multiple agencies involved जहाँ पर भी transactions route हुए थे. UAE, UK, Dubai, Caymans, at least they were pretending to be involved. In South Africa, of course, the main bridge, Mr. Sanjay Chawla, the bookmaker, was living in UK since then. And after Mohammed Azharuddin went to High Court, got his clean chit in 2012, Delhi police ने 2013 में चार्जेस फाइल करे अगेंस्ट क्रोनिये, द पर्सन हु इज़ नो मोर, वो भी 11 साल बाद में, एंड संजय चावला के अगेंस्ट. ऑल ऑफ दिस 2013 में चार्जेस फाइल हुए आफ्टर 25 ईयर्स ऑफ द केस, जब एक्चुअली वो हुआ था. एंड इन 2020 द बुकमेकर संजय चावला वॉज एक्स्ट्राडाइटेड फ्रॉम UK एज पर द इंडियन UK एक्स्ट्राडाइट ट्रीटी and is still considered one of the most popular extradite. Same way, if Indian government wants, they can pull extradite Vijay Mallya, Nirav Modi as well. Agencies lagi with the cooperation of lot of these agencies. Finally, Sanjay Chawla was brought in 2020. Actual case which happened was in 1995 to 2000. तो 20-25 साल बाद वो लाया गया. And other than that, Sanjay Chawla, who else did they bring in? उसी के बाद अक्टूबर 2000 ईयर में ICC ने एंटी करप्शन यूनिट बिठाई. एज ऑफ टुडे दैट एंटी करप्शन यूनिट इज़ वेरी एक्टिव, एटलीस्ट इन द फ्रंट फेस. अदर देन दिस, एज ऑफ टुडे द पीपल इन्वॉल्व्ड इन दीज केसेस हु वर एक्चुअली द बेनिफिशरीज स्टिल आउट एंड फ्री with their money that is being spent on the real estate to hike the real estate price that a common man wants to buy. With all these investigative agencies, with all these Hawala networks, offshore bankings, legitimizing the business with front companies, and all of these people involved who really accepted Herschel, Gibbs, Williams, Cronje, Mohammed Azharuddin, who got clean chits. Even after a clean chit he got from High Court, he didn't really accept it, and that is why he went on to make a movie about it, because he understood that media has far more better washing strategies than courts. All of this happened, and still as of today one of the most corrupt and fixed game is what? You tell me.